So my name is Daniel, and I am an English learner, and I think we share similar hobbies because in my case, I started out with a podcast in English so that I can become fluent in English. And maybe that's also why I was so amazed when I came across your YouTube channel. It's just deep in my heart, and I love it. And I am also a Spanish learner. My mother tongue is Swiss German, but my father originally came from Argentina, and so I grew up bilingually. But these days I am a bit rusty. For me, it was super cool to watch your videos, so I could learn both. I could learn English and Spanish, and it's so
Wow.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
The idea is to present you as a learner because I think that you are a super learner, and also to show your YouTube channel to other learners because
Wow.
my podcast is all about getting inspired in the language learning world and to share tips and tricks on how to become more fluent. I am so happy that you are here today.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't consider myself a super learner, but I'm trying to stay consistent with it.
I
Yeah.
think that is one of the most crucial things, being consistent. So I would like to know, can you explain your language situations? What languages are you learning? And what
Right.
motivates you to learn those languages?
Well, I'm an English speaker, native English speaker. I was born in Louisiana in the United States, and my father was from Honduras, and so he spoke Spanish fluently, but we never learned to speak Spanish as children. So now that I'm in my 40s, I'm trying to learn Spanish, and I started in September of 2019, and yeah, it's going well. It's a lot of fun, and I wish that I would have done this when I was younger, but here we are, and yeah, I'm glad that I'm doing it now. Yeah, I'm learning Spanish.
And
That's it.
what sparkled your fire? I mean, why now? Why 2019? Now I want to learn Spanish. Was
Right.
there something that inspired you?
No, I've always wanted to learn Spanish and never could. I would always get apps where you could learn some vocabulary like apple and door and mother, father, the normal words. So I've known those type of words ever since I was a kid, and every time that I would get a new app it would be something like that. I don't know if it's a unique situation. I never knew that I was dyslexic. Growing up, I never knew I was dyslexic. So I've always struggled with reading and writing the way that other children in my same age group would have always been able to do. I was never able to do that as a child. And when it came to language learning, I didn't know that about myself, and I didn't know how to work around those things. So I only recently, within the last maybe 5 years, found that out about myself, that it's actually something that can just be overcome, and started on a self-improvement journey like 5 years ago
Yeah.
on other things, and that was when I was like, let's try and learn Spanish again, and not worry about the problems that I would get frustrated with reading and writing and then just want to stop. Just let's just learn what I can learn and just continue doing it. And that's what
Yeah.
I've been doing.
And Charlie, could you please explain a little bit what exactly does dyslexic mean?
Wow, that's a difficult thing to explain because it's there's a lot of variance between it. It's from what I really understand is I don't associate the written language with the sounds that I hear. I can be reading and completely read a word that's not there, or something like that. Or if I'm trying to write, I just would have no idea how some of the most simplest words are spelled. So For me, dyslexia is I use it as a big excuse a lot of times now that I know that about myself. Oh, that's why I forgot your birthday, and that's things like that. But no, it. I do have trouble with dates
Hmm.
and reading and writing, but honestly, in my 40s, I'm getting better at all of those things.
And how exactly did you find out that you are dyslexic?
Just by habit, I happened to get into a video on YouTube that was explaining the symptoms of it, and I just thought it was too much a coincidence that I have all of these symptoms, and no one would know this about me. I've been able to hide that or avoid anything that would make me look bad to or things that I would be embarrassed about. Like I never would read in front of anyone my entire life. That was something I never did. And things like that. And so then when I got into finding out about more this dyslexic issues, that's when I realized that I was never diagnosed by a doctor or anything like that, and I'm not even sure if that's something that they do. It's I fit the symptoms perfectly to a T.
I see, I see. But nevertheless, I mean, you reached a certain level in Spanish nevertheless, so you can be
Right.
proud and you just go for it. You have your own YouTube channel, which is called Charlie's Spanish Journey. Maybe
Yeah.
you could tell something about your channel.
Right. Well, I started recording my lessons from the very beginning because I don't take notes and I need to get better at that. I still don't even read the notes that are sent to me. I recorded my lessons to re-listen to them and just listen to them again while I'm working. And at first, I just did it for myself, just to
Yeah.
rehav the same conversations over and over. And then I remember being really proud of just being able to say a few sentences. So I wanted to share those with some friends and family and stuff like that, just to let them know I'm gonna try and stick with it and have a little bit of accountability. And now it's just become public, and I share a lot of my lessons, but not all of them. I want to make sure that a teacher that I have a lesson with is okay with it, and things like that. So I've probably had 250 Spanish lessons now.
Wow, that is amazing. This is really amazing. And also,
Yeah.
I watched the very first video. I think it was with Gabriel, the teacher Gabriel.
Gabriel,
Gabriel,
he's
yes. And at the very first time, you couldn't record his voice due to technical
right.
issues.
I
And
didn't know how.
yeah, and it's so amazing because you're still having lessons with him. So you picked a really good teacher in the beginning, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So he was my first teacher, and I'm kind of like that. I'm naturally a shy person, and so I was comfortable with him, and so he's been my Spanish teacher for 2 years now, something like that.
okay. And being a shy person, how was it at the beginning to publish the
Oh
lesson? Were you nervous?
no, no. The weird thing is I posting videos have never been an issue. Well, maybe I kind of worked into that because for my job, I would make YouTube videos like as ads for my job. And so I was used to doing that. And it doesn't really affect my shyness. It was actually a lot harder for me to have my first Spanish lesson than it was
Yeah.
for me to post my first Spanish lesson. I was incredibly nervous just to have my very first Spanish lesson. I don't know why that was, and I'm married to a Spanish speaker, and yeah, it's also very difficult to practice with a spouse. in my situation. We've been married for 20 years and we spoke English our entire relationship.
Yeah, that is also really special because you're speaking 20 years in English and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you begin to have this passion to learn the Spanish
Yeah.
language, and I love that. I really love that because sometimes people say no, now it's too late, it's too difficult, but no, you just go for it, and I kind of like that, and you motivate other people. I saw that, yeah, oftentimes people would comment something and also say, yeah, this is so cool, this motivates me.
That's a big deal. That's really inspiring too. I never thought someone else can be motivated from my lessons and they can see like problems that I have if they ever have an issue. Also, it's so normal. It's normal to make mistakes. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm getting a second chance by learning Spanish now. So so to try and do it a little better than the first time around. So I'm learning to read a lot better and I still don't really write, but I use voice to text. Technology has made it to where there's hacks around the problems that we had with dyslexia.
Was there any idol out there on YouTube that maybe you watched it before and then you wanted to kind of make a similar channel?
No, it wasn't a similar channel, but yeah, there's a couple of them. There's a guy named Shane from I think he lives in England, and he's learned the Spain dialect incredibly quickly. There's a guy named Mike Ben in Atlanta who also learned Spanish in like a year. Those guys have been incredibly motivating. The first guy that I saw on YouTube who was a Spanish learner was a guy who goes by El Gringo, and I think he's learning Portuguese now, but I saw a video where he posted like a challenge to speak Spanish for 24 hours, and I was really impressed by that. And so,
Okay.
yeah, I live on YouTube watching Spanish or listening to it while I work. I treat YouTube like an audiobook, really. I'll just play videos and not know what's going on in the video, just listening to it.
Yeah, that is awesome. And you mentioned in one of your videos the shadowing technique, which you
Yes.
used exactly on some YouTube videos. Maybe you could talk
Yes.
about that.
So shadowing is something that Gabriel had tried to get me to do for a while, and I could never find something that I could keep up with it. But there's a podcast called Simple Stories in Spanish, and yeah, there's a teacher from Colorado who created a podcast, and she creates these stories and reads them like a small audiobook, and it's fantastic. Simple Stories in Spanish. She reads them kind of slowly, speaks as clear as possible. And shadowing is when, as the story is going on or as you're hearing something, you're repeating it, kind of like the way we did when we were children, when you would copy your siblings as they're speaking, you're saying the same thing at the same time. And it's a lot harder to do than it sounds, especially when you're learning the language.
And I think you used a word in one of your videos. You called it copycatting, I think, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
copycatting. I think that's what we called it when we were children.
Awesome.
He's a
And
copycat.
and it was astonishing also because you mentioned that sometimes you wouldn't even know or understand what the teacher was telling, but it doesn't matter
Right.
because it's just to get the right pronunciation, I guess, and to get used to it.
Exactly. It is a tongue exercise to say the words, and you're just repeating everything you hear, you're just repeating it. And I do that with her stories, and yeah, you'll learn how to say words before you know what they even mean. But
Yeah.
in context, stories are great to learn Spanish. Hi, everybody. I'm Charlie, and this is my Spanish journey. I have a Spanish teacher who's been trying to get me to do this technique called shadowing. I recently found this podcast on iTunes and found out that they also have a YouTube channel, and this is the perfect speed for me to do shadowing with. If you are looking for someone to shadow, the speed that she reads these stories is absolutely perfect for stuff like that. So let me go ahead and jump into it and show you.
Hola y bienvenidos a este episodio de Simple Stories in Spanish. The Mesoamerican reef system is the second largest in the world. Located in el Mar Caribe, Caribbean Sea, the most beautiful section of this reef is accessible through the island of Roatán in Honduras.
Now, this is actually a podcast, and you'll be able to listen to this without the video. It's something that I like to listen to at work. This is what the logo looks like. Simple Stories in Spanish. And yeah, let me show you this technique.
Here you can see the plant and animal life that call this tropical paradise home. Important vocabulary in the story includes pez, fish, bucear, scuba dive, tortuga, turtle, cangrejo, crab, and tiburón ballena, whale shark. I hope you enjoy
Tiburón ballena.
Bajo el Mar.
Bajo del Mar. I won't do the entire story, but I'll just do a little
Hay
bit.
un hombre.
Hay un hombre.
El hombre se
El
llama
hombre se llama
Miguel.
Miguel.
A Miguel,
A
le
Miguel
gusta
le gusta
mucho el
mucho
agua.
el agua.
Cuando era niño, Miguel jugaba con el agua todo el tiempo.
Todo el tiempo.
Nadaba en los lagos
en
y
los
ríos.
y los ríos.
Estaba particularmente fascinado con los animales
en el agua.
Le gustaba observar los peces
cuando nadaba.
Ahora,
okay, so that can be pretty embarrassing, but that's the technique. It's a way to actually practice listening and speaking at the same time. You really do have to listen in order to keep up with them. So I urge you, if you are learning Spanish and you've gotten to the level to where you can really kind of understand something, these simple stories in Spanish are really good to listen to stories and learn vocabulary in context.
I started this podcast almost 2 years ago because I really just enjoy telling stories. I truly believe that stories make language learning almost effortless.
And these stories really are a lot of fun. It's incredible how much you can actually understand and new vocabulary you can learn with this style of teaching.
You can be very proud of yourself because I noticed on many videos when you were, for example, in a VR chat, Spanish speakers would tell you, yeah, but Charlie, your Spanish is really good. And then you told them how long you were learning and then said, yeah, but it's amazing. It's way better than many other learners who have been learning for more time. So
yeah, that's really nice to hear. And before I started learning Spanish, I never really understand the idea of learning another language. Because it's me now, I realize all the things I don't know. So I always focus on the things that I don't know how to do. And that was not something that I realized before that other people are going through who are learning English or something like that. It gives you a lot more respect for anyone who's learned another language, because just because you can have a conversation about some things, there might be completely other topics that are just off limits, like there is for me. You know, I'm always struggling with the language. But I'm so happy that I can do the things that I can do now, like get to know people or ask for help in things.
Yeah, but this is also something that I noticed, that you are beating yourself up a lot of times, or but
Yeah, I think we do
oftentimes
that a lot.
I got the impression that, yeah, it's not true what you are saying, because as I said in the beginning of our chat here, that in my opinion you are a super learner, and maybe you could tell something more about the VR chat.
Yeah, VR chat was really cool because it's in video game format, and you can just walk up to other characters and just talk. So VR chat is, most people think you have to wear like the goggles to be able to look around, but you don't. You can just use your computer screen. It's free, and there's different rooms where there's different worlds really, and probably almost any language is there. And so I use it to just wander around in these Spanish worlds and listen to other people having conversations, and it's real conversations, and it's live, and it is a game, so there's always going to be annoyances in that,
Yeah, of course.
but overall it's been really fun, and at an intermediate level it's really easy to find someone to just practice with, and it's not face to face, it's just a video game character that you choose. There's millions of avatars that you can choose from, and it's all free.
Yeah, and I remember there was a guy from Spain, I think Barcelona, but I'm not quite sure. And you were
Yeah,
talking with
maybe.
him a lot. I think he was 19 years old or something like that. But he had a knowledge that was fantastic. I mean, a
Really.
grammatical knowledge, and he knew how to explain things. And to me, it was amazing because you didn't know him, right? But he knew that
Random.
you were learning, and he was just open and so friendly
And
and just amazing. It was like a lesson, but with a teacher who is not a teacher, but he is teaching you his
yeah,
language. That was so
yeah, it
beautiful.
was. I've really gotten lucky, and I've met dozens of people on VR chat that uh, were really great conversations. It's amazing to to use a platform like that and then end up having a conversation with a random stranger.
And do you have a specific procedure or a method when you are in a VR chat? I mean, do you take notes, maybe some expressions that you want to remember, or is it just the
No,
video that you record and then you can watch
that's
it
it.
again?
That's it. Yeah. I still to this day don't have an exact plan on learning Spanish, and some things
Okay.
I've learned way more advanced, and I don't have a list of normal phrases that a lot of people want to learn. I never did that and just learned phrases. I'm just learning how to speak, none of it's really by learning how to say this or a phrase.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
see.
never did that.
But you are kind of a gamer, right? Because you love games in
Yeah,
general.
I like technology. I like things like that. Yeah, yeah. I play video games. I'm not a huge gamer. Yeah, I'm not good at video games, but I'll play them.
Yeah. For example, I don't know how to pronounce it on it's an ego shooter, Fortnite or Fortnite. I don't know how to pronounce
Fortnite. Yeah,
Fortnite.
Fortnite is a video game, and
Okay. And there it seems to me it is a bit chaotic, right? To
it's very
because it goes so fast, everything. It's
yes,
maybe very colloquial, the words that are being used from by the Spanish speakers. It was so
right.
difficult for me also to grasp the meaning. It's maybe for
Yeah,
pros, for
right. Yeah. Oh, so I originally got into Fortnite because I have friends in different parts of the country, and it was a way to just kind of hang out with some friends. But
Mhm.
when you're playing with with a group, 4 or 5 people, we can all talk to each other while we're playing the video game. And so then I wanted to try that, and I used a VPN so the computer would think that I was in South America to just play with random strangers. And I ended up playing with some kids, and
Yeah.
they one of them knew a little bit of English, and I was just getting started, and really I couldn't understand anything they said at the time. Now, when I listen to the same video, I can
Yeah.
understand them, but this is like 2 years
Amazing.
later.
Yeah, it's really nice because you can keep track of you in your journey, right? Because you can really
Right.
make out where am I now? Where was I 2 years ago? And you can really see and listen to it. This is so amazing, honest.
Right. I have all every one of my lessons recorded, and I can go back even to some of my first lessons with Gabriel. And when I listen to him again, even though I understand more now, it's a
Yeah,
new lesson to me. I don't remember him saying any of those things because at that time I didn't understand it.
I
And
see, I see.
yeah, so this week I've probably listened to three lessons that were over a year and a half. And when they would say something, my response has nothing to do with what they said. It's just me speaking what I could.
Yeah,
And so now it's a lot different because it's a new lesson again.
yeah, of course. And you can make really the best out of these lessons because even after 2 years, you're getting something from those lessons. It's really amazing.
Absolutely.
And technology evolves really fast. It's incredible. Yeah, yeah. And let's talk about another game called, let me see, it is called Influent, and it's a
In
game on Steam. Yeah.
Steam. That's also where I play VR chat is on Steam also. Influent is a language learning game, and it's strictly to learn vocabulary, household vocabulary. It's a character in an apartment with all the things that would be in an apartment, and you can just go around and click on any item, and it'll let you know what the name of that item is. And I think that game cost like $10,
Yeah.
and it's a way to learn hundreds of household item names. And
Okay.
yeah, that was a fun game. It's been a long time since I played that.
And do you happen to know the game called Skyrim?
I do know Skyrim. I've never played it, but I'm
Okay.
familiar with it. I'm very familiar with it.
Because the game is huge. Like there
Yeah.
is a huge world, and in my opinion, it's great to learn languages as well because every item in this world you can, yeah, there is also the name displayed, what it is. So it is also
That's
similar maybe to the game that we were talking right now, but it's not made for language learning. But there are always games that you can
yeah.
use as a language learning tool. Yeah,
Skyrim. I'm gonna look into that then. I'm gonna look into Skyrim because
yeah.
that would be pretty good.
Because what I would do is on my Steam account, I always try to because I am a gamer, right? And when I game,
Hmm.
I always set the language to the language that I want to learn, right? For me, it's amazing. It's like, yeah, having fun, learning games, learning languages, and
Yeah.
it's like two birds with one stone.
Yeah, yeah, it has to be fun or you won't continue to do it. That's a really big deal with
Yeah.
learning language. If you can't figure out a way to have fun while you're doing it, you'll just stop.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that you had almost 600 days you were on a streak on Duolingo. How do you pronounce it?
Um,
Streak?
streak, yeah,
Streak.
streak. Yeah, I had almost 800 days. I had
Oh,
760 days without, yeah, without breaking that streak. And l- we just moved houses and had almost 4 months of chaos, and I lost my streak,
hmm,
and which is good. I think I was a little more addicted to the streak
yeah, yeah.
than I was to Duolingo, because now I'm not worried about the streak at all. And it took me a little while to get out of that habit, but I still use Duolingo constantly, but I don't mind just missing a couple of days if I have
Hmm.
other things going on versus just getting on there just to keep the streak.
Yeah. So it means when you lose one day or when you miss out one day, then you lose the streak, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it's
That
supposed to mean.
would you say that Duolingo helped you a lot in your Spanish journey?
It's still helping me. I know that the Spanish learners that I watch on YouTube consider Duolingo one of the slower places to learn a language. But for me, I can't imagine something better for me, because I'm still learning how to read and write in Spanish, and I mess up a lot of that a lot in English. When I read the sentence, I might read something as past tense when it's present tense,
Hmm.
like he didn't speak yesterday, or I mean he didn't speak with him. I might read that sentence as he doesn't speak with him, and they translate differently. So it helps me work on the problems that I have with dyslexia,
Yeah,
with
I see.
reading what's actually there versus what I just say. I have to double check what I think I'm reading, and
Yeah.
so I'm still working on that. So Duolingo is helping me. I still use it. I used it last night.
Yeah. And is it possible that your pronunciation is so good because you are focusing more on the audio, right? Because I saw that many times, yeah, you would shadow or you would repeat the sentences in Spanish. Is it possible that your focus on your language journey were more on the sound than on the written?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that. So my pronunciation is not the normal accent. I don't have the typical American accent. I still have an accent because of how my tongue is developed here in speaking English my whole life. So I struggle with certain sounds to make them, but I definitely don't speak Spanish like someone who's reading those words in English.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I've always, every time that I hear something on Duolingo, even when it doesn't want me to repeat it, I'm repeating it
Yeah.
anyway, and that's just habit.
Yeah, and it's amazing. But I personally, I love to listen to podcasts. And then when I really love a voice or an episode, then I focus on little bits of the episode and then I try to repeat it. The best thing is when it's really informal, right? When they are talking like with friends, because I really like to focus on that, not too formal, right? Because nobody
Yeah.
speaks like in a grammar book.
Right. Right. Yeah. We learn Spanish, and it could be like that for English. If you learn English, you would say my wife and I went out to eat last night. But no one would correct you if you said me and my wife, even though that's probably wrong
Yeah,
grammatically. That's how most people would say it. It's
yeah,
me and my wife. That's probably wrong. And maybe that's not the same depending where you are in the world, but here no one would think twice if you said me and my wife
yeah, yeah,
versus my wife and I. People might actually, that doesn't that's not really normal. It's maybe too proper.
Yeah, I see. And now I am really curious. May I ask you if your wife is a subscriber of your YouTube channel?
She is not.
No?
She is not. It's no, no. She has watched a few, a few videos, and it's also like when we're in the car, I listen to my lessons again driving too. So she already hears a lot of my lessons just when we're going on road trips or when we're driving. It's so she knows
Yeah.
for the most part she's listened to a lot of them. She's listened to a lot of these conversations.
Has the language situation changed since then? Now that you are fluent in Spanish, do you talk with her more often in
Yes.
Spanish or?
Well, yeah, way more often than before, but I still speak more to my teachers than I do to my wife. But yeah, there has been days where we've gotten to practice quite a bit. But yeah, it has to be for me right now. Spanish is not something that I can control well enough to have a deep conversation without needing help with almost every sentence. So for us here at home, it's still not something that I can use. But I can say enough sentences now to where we can speak in Spanish. But I can't really have an entire conversation in Spanish
Yeah.
without needing help, and then it becomes where she's trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, and so I'm just going to continue learning until eventually I won't have those problems, and we'll just be able to continue. She'll know exactly what I'm saying, even if I'm wrong. Right now, right now I'm always guessing on how a word is pronounced, or what a word is if I'm not sure. So, and then instead of having a conversation, it becomes her trying to figure out what word I'm trying to say or what I mean.
Yeah. I see. So
Yeah.
so let's transition to another application which I didn't know. It's called Omegle, I think, or Omegle.
Omegle. That's a dangerous place to want to practice languages.
How come?
Omegle is like chat roulette. It's kind of like what we're doing right now, how we're having a video call. But imagine me just you being able to click next and getting another random stranger. So they could be anywhere in the world, or anybody anywhere in the world, and it's just random. And so there is a way to put like topics and filters, like if you
Okay.
have like art or comedy or movies as topics, that will definitely help. But you will get a lot of unsolicited nudity
Okay,
on
really?
Omegle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely, you'll have post traumatic stress disorder if you're not careful.
So have you abandoned the idea to use Omegle?
So if you use now that I know that if you use topics like art, comedy, movies, things like that, it could be cooking, it could be whatever topics, that will get the majority of the negative things out. So
Okay.
I have used it, and it's been some of my favorite conversations with strangers.
Okay, cool. So, and can you choose the language?
Um, I guess it would depend on how you wrote your yes, yes, because I've been doing really well to just get Spanish speakers when I'm looking for Spanish speakers. Now, for me, where I'm at, if I don't put anything, it's mostly English speakers. But if the topics are películas, for movies, or you can also put the names of countries that will just give you those speakers.
Then maybe I will check it. Now I am curious, but I am afraid at
Yeah.
the same time.
You can do it. You just have to have a really thick skin, because it's also a lot of younger people who are just there for trolling,
Yeah,
which
I
is
see.
just a way to be silly. You have to let it roll and just
Yeah.
skip. And that was really hard for me. It's really hard for me to just shut someone down.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. So let's maybe move back a little bit because we talked already about online lessons. For example, we mentioned Gabriel, your first teacher. So on these one-on-one lessons, which I think you're taking them with Italki. So
Italki.
Italki, okay. And would you say on your YouTube channel, is this the main theme or the main topic?
Yes, because my channel is still it's still mostly for me, for my lessons. And when I get into editing another video, I mean, that's also for me too. So I'm
Yes.
happy to share it with everyone, but even a video that I edit, I just kind of like doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think italki is about the best platform to use, and it's yeah, that's the main focus, is actual lessons. It's me still having lessons.
Yeah, I see. And are there many teachers who are up to it? I mean, I imagine that not everybody wants to to get
Right.
exposed or being exposed
Right.
on YouTube or being shown
Yeah.
on YouTube.
A lot of them are okay with it.
Okay.
But yeah, you have to ask.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
definitely don't want to do that. You'll ruin a relationship. And if you have a really good teacher, you don't want to do something that they don't want you to do, because then you won't be able to have lessons. They won't want to have lessons with you.
Of course, of
So
course.
luckily, I've not run into that. But I have had maybe 20 teachers total, but I'm not sure how many I've shared online. Maybe 6 or 7, something like
Yeah.
that.
And I even watched a video in which there were two teachers in a lesson with you.
Yeah, that's happened. Gabriel has brought other teachers on, so he was also training another teacher, and so that was fun. That's a lot of fun, actually, and you get a chance to have more of a group conversation,
Yeah.
which, yeah, there's a lot of practice there. I don't know at that point if I was ready for that, but some teachers offer group, two
Group?
teachers,
Okay.
yeah, like two teachers with you, and
Cool.
I think I'd like to try that again.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And do you have any future plans on your YouTube channel? Do you have an idea, maybe a new game or I don't know? Or
So
you go with the flow?
I have a lot of hobbies that I shut down. I got rid of all of my everything that I was doing before I was learning Spanish. I basically paused, but
Mm-hmm.
I was building a food channel, and so I think once I'm more fluent in Spanish, I would like to start that again, because in the area I live, there's so many amazing Spanish speaking small restaurants
Yeah.
that I think that I would like to start sharing those places with my YouTube channel.
You mean you would go to the restaurants and then kind of film everything and make like a documentary.
Yes, exactly. I can actually, if it's okay, I can
Yeah,
I
of
can
course.
show you something.
That sounds really
Let's see.
exciting.
Let me
And
get
of
this
course in
ready.
Spanish.
Yeah, I'll do it in Spanish. So, let's see if you can see this. This is my YouTube. I mean, this is my Instagram channel, and it was all about food. Everything here is strictly about food. So any one of these are gonna be videos. Is it coming through? Can you see
Yes,
the whole thing?
I can see the whole thing.
Oh, okay. So it's I would like to do, videos like this
Yeah.
about places like this, because we have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of restaurants that are exactly like this one, and they're Spanish speaking, and or it doesn't even matter. I think I would just try to mix two hobbies, like doing videos like this, but also speaking about this in Spanish, which I don't have the vocabulary to do right now. So, yeah, this was things that I've done, just hundreds and hundreds of restaurants that we go to.
That is
And
awesome, Charlie. Awesome.
yeah.
And I find it really cool because it's like mixing two passions together.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And in my case, because as I mentioned, I started out with my podcast to become a better English speaker. And nowadays, I can't really say what passion is bigger. Is it the editing and everything? Is it the English learning? It's so funny.
Yeah, it could both become addictive, because when you're editing a video, when I'm putting together a video, that's the first time that I get to go over,
Yeah.
the video.
And it's also
Yeah.
getting in touch with basically the whole world, because I interview always different people from all over the world. And sometimes they are English learners and sometimes they are teachers. It's not one thing, and I don't stick to it. It's just I do whatever I want, and it's okay. I do it for my passion, right? It's not for
Yeah.
money and anything. It's my passion.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I've never, right now I've not been concerned with trying to build a YouTube channel that's for a living. It's more about just sharing this journey, and if it helps anyone, that's amazing. I love hearing that it does,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's more of the focus for my YouTube channel, and yeah, I think if it ever made any money, it depended on if it was from a specific teacher, I would want to make sure that they got that,
Yeah.
because it's really all the teachers. The teachers are the ones that are doing all the work.
And
Yeah.
Charlie, do you have any tips and tricks that you want to share with my listeners when it comes to learning a language?
So yeah, something that I use consistently is called voice to text, or voice to text. And that's a way to use your phone to write for you, and that will help with pronunciation. I think that's probably one of the best ways to practice your pronunciation, because your phone won't judge you or anything like that. It'll never
Yeah.
embarrass you. And the only way it will work is if you say a word correctly. It's the
I
only
see.
way that it'll write.
But how is
So-
the app called? What is the name?
So it can be, your phones can do it. Let's see. For example, let's see if I can show you on. Let me move. So I have, let me move this. Let's see. This button, the microphone on the bottom, that's now as you speak, it will just write for you. And you can change it. You can add now you can see it's in Spanish. You can add different keyboards to your phone. And now if you speak, you have to speak in Spanish, because if I continue to speak in English, oh my God.
It was amazing.
It won't understand you. Aunque yo necesito hablar en español y ahora esa aplicación puede escribir para ti.
Okay, well done. Awesome.
That's so okay. So yeah, that's
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, this is an excellent tip, and as you said, nobody is gonna judge you, so it's really good. Yeah.
that couldn't have been worse. What? How in the world can it will not understand you at all if you're not saying the word correctly in the language that it needs you to.
Awesome. And maybe, do you have any favorite expression that comes to mind?
Oh, something that I actually use as a like a slogan on my channel every now and then is, it's never too late to better yourself.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Great. Charlie, can you tell our listeners where can we find you?
So I'm kind of disorganized. In Spanish, the main thing that I have is called Charlie's Spanish Journey, and I think I'm going to start doing more on the Instagram Charlie's Spanish Journey, which I'll try to get smaller clips from each of my lessons to just put small clips on my Instagram.
Awesome. I look forward to it. I will also be a follower, let's say it like that. And
Nice.
yeah, it was really great, and I wish you good luck and a lot of fun in your Spanish journey. It was really nice chatting with you. It was really amazing. Thank you so much.
Nice chatting with you too, Daniel. Thank you so much. Gracias por mirando. Este año yo practiqué dentro de Duolingo 13,241 minutos. Era mucho tiempo. Y esta aplicación dice que yo practiqué muchas palabras, 11,406 palabras. Tengo 445 minutos en un día. Esto es casi 8 horas en un día. Como Duolingo fue mi trabajo o algo así. Es demasiado tiempo para usar esta aplicación.